Back in a moment.
It's estimated that possibly 50% of people who are starting rollerblading will have some sort of injury.
Injuries that can range from minor scrapes to severe head injuries and broken bones.
We'll show you how to stay on the blades and off the injured list tonight, live at 5.
There's nothing out there, and there doesn't appear to be anything coming up in the near future.
For some Nova Scotians, things have never been worse. But what does the Premier think? As he enters his second year in office, John Savage sums up the state of the province tonight on the ATV Evening News.
Frisky's dry cat food. It's packed with energy-producing nutrients to bring out the frisky in your cat.
It's Pontiac Excitement Days at your Maritime Pontiac dealers. Now, this specially equipped Sunbird Coupe is just $10,845 or a $199 monthly lease. And this popular Sunbird sedan is just $12,495 or a $209 monthly lease. Get this great offer on Sunbird now during Pontiac Excitement Days at your Maritime Pontiac dealers.
Have you discovered multigrain Cheerios?
Multigrain. Wouldn't like it.
It's interesting.
They gotta be heavy. Light, crispy.
Just a little bit sweet. 4 different kinds of O's.
Discover the taste of multigrain Cheerios.
What are you staring at? Go try it.
For 400 years, people have risked their lives through clashes, conflicts, and all-out war to save them, so that you might be able to see them in more peaceful surroundings. The Royal Lippers Honor Stallions in a Symphony in White Anniversary Edition.
April 23rd and 24th, St. John. Tickets at Harbor Station and Irving Convenience Stores.
As you try new Kellogg's Rice Krispie Square cereal, be warned, one taste is never enough. Yeah, you've tried a lot of cereals before, but none of them had the taste of Rice Krispie Squares in a totally new, totally crispy cereal. So if you want to scarf them down big time, remember, you're not alone. Kellogg's Rice Krispie Square cereal, part of this complete breakfast. One taste is never enough.
I love you. I want you. I must.
Out of deodorant? Lawton's Drugs has great prices every day on Gillette Soft and Dry and many other brands. When it comes to saving money, it's no sweat with us.
Certain things belong in certain packages. Anything else just doesn't seem right. And soft drinks are no exception. So we're replacing this with this. Good idea, huh?
I am in love with someone. He's right here. I know I love him, but I have to love and respect myself enough to set boundaries and form trust. There's a lot of trust between me and my father and my parents, and they've guided me and told me what's right, and they made it my decision. And I decided that, you know, I set boundaries for myself. I want to abstain from sex until I'm married. He knows that, you know. We've got an open relationship. I discussed things with him.
Yeah.
My parents allowed it to be my decision.
Yeah, I had a virginity talk with Julie a year and a half ago, and we sealed it with a ring, and that's a trust bond between us and also with our God.
But if she said that she didn't want to be a virgin when she was married, would that be okay with you too?
I wouldn't have sealed it with a ring.
Would not have sealed.
Yeah.
You wanted to say what?
I wanted to say trust and guidance is an ongoing process. What you teach a child at 14 and 15 is one thing. What you teach them and try and give them guidance on at 16 and 17 is another. That is an ongoing process. It does not stop at the age of 14 because they're 14.
Hotel accommodations provided by Le Méridien Chicago, offering contemporary European elegance in the heart of Chicago's Gold Coast. Guests of our show fly our official carrier, American Airlines. American offers daily non-stop service from 7 U.S. gateways to the United Kingdom. American Airlines, something special to Europe.
In the Heat of the Night, tonight at 10 on ATV.
Monte Carlo, Vegas, Atlantic City, and now Nova Scotia, raising the ante in the Maritimes. Tonight, live at 5.
Now, from the ATV News Center at every city and town in the Maritimes, this is the ATV Evening News, live at 5.
Good evening, everybody. It is Wednesday, April 20th, and I will bet that you are Nancy Reagan.
And what are the odds that you are Paul Meunier?
We're using gambling terminology tonight because, as you know, the Nova Scotia government this afternoon said it is going to gamble on prosperity. Tonight on Live at 5, we're going to skim a little off the top and find out what gambling, casino gambling, means to you.
We'll also examine the connection between casinos and crime, and we have these stories ahead tonight.
I'm Jonathan Kay at the Victoria General Hospital in Halifax. People from across the Maritimes come here for organ transplant operations. And if you or a member of your family ever end up being an organ donor, chances are it will end up here too. Tonight on Live at 5, we'll show you how the organ transplant program works.
I'm Connell Smith in St. John. Coming up, we'll look at the often emotional debate surrounding the ethics of transplanting organs.
And the musical Cats is in the Maritimes starting tonight. To celebrate, we're giving away 2 cast jackets. Details on how to win coming up. You'll also see our Janice Landry transform before your eyes into a cat.
Also ahead tonight, skating without ice. More and more Maritimers are taking up rollerblading, and some are predicting a big boom for this sport. We'll also have words of caution from Live at 5's Dr. Stuart Cameron.
It's all coming up in the midweek edition of Live at 5. First, let's check in with Steve Murphy, working on the ATV Evening News, and a bit of a surprise today, Steve.
Yeah, you could say a bombshell was dropped today in the State of the Province address in Nova Scotia, where casino gambling is going to get a try.
We will issue a license for the operation of 2 casinos in Nova Scotia. One will be located in the Halifax-Dartmouth metropolitan area. The other will be in industrial Cape Breton.
Still lots of questions to be answered, though, like how will it benefit the province and who will make all the money? We have answers coming up live at 5 and then again at 6 o'clock. And also in the evening news tonight, explosion and fire in a maritime community leaves 2 people in critical condition tonight. Eyewitnesses say the Irving gas bar right there caught fire and blew up this morning. The 2 injured people are believed to be employees of the gas bar. Latest on the story here at 6 o'clock. Also, it has been a busy few weeks for the bomb squad in Moncton, and they're at it again. Forced to deal with another suspicious package. There it is. A city worker found the device at the water tower, and we have more coming up tonight at 6 o'clock. Right now, look at the weather forecast. Here is Flip McLaughlin in the ATV Weather Center. Phil?
Thanks a lot, Steve. Well, the days are flipping by, and today was another day with weather, fresh weather across the Maritimes. Let's call it a spring salad, meteorologically speaking. We had sunshine, we had fog, and we even had a couple of thunder showers rumbling across the southern parts of the Maritimes. But we also have cooler weather coming in, and when I'm back later, of course, I'll have all the details on just how cold it's going to get over the next few days. Steve?
All right, Phil, we'll have the forecast for you at 5:30, then at 6 o'clock, all the day's top stories, including rowdies. Are they destroying a peaceful piece of nature, this one? Well, some nature lovers say drunkards and partiers are destroying the peace and tranquility of this nature park. So what's going to be done about it? We find out tonight in the ATV Evening News at 6 o'clock, right after Live at 5, which continues now with Paul and Nancy, and I'll just bet you're talking about gambling, right?
How did you know, Steve? It is a game of provincial poker, and the government is hoping to cash in. One-armed bandits first at 5 tonight as Nova Scotia moves to establish the first 2 licensed casinos in the Maritimes.
Yeah, the announcement that casino gambling is coming to Nova Scotia is only hours old, but already there has been a great deal of reaction. ATV's Fons Jessom spent the afternoon talking with people on what is likely to be a hot topic. Fons, what kind of a reaction you've been getting out there?
Well, Paul, I guess we'd have to call it a 50-50 split. As you say, the announcement is only hours old, and the reaction I've been getting has been almost evenly divided. Some people welcome the idea of casinos in Nova Scotia. Others are worried by that thought. Even police agencies can't seem to agree on whether casino gambling is good or bad for the province. Nova Scotians know their province is in a tough economic position. Recent cuts to almost all levels of government service have brought that message home. The province is now rolling the dice in the hopes that 2 casinos will help improve things by increasing tax flow to the Treasury. The 2 Nova Scotia casinos will not be in operation overnight. The province has announced a detailed plan aimed at finding an operator by September. One of the 2 casinos will be located in industrial Cape Breton. The second will be located somewhere here in the Halifax-Dartmouth area. Reaction here has been mixed.
I used to live in Quebec many years ago, and the province eventually became rife with underworld and criminalities and so on. That's what I remember anyway.
And that was from casinos?
Oh, casinos and everything that goes with it.
I think it's completely ludicrous. Gambling is an addiction, and as an addiction it should be treated as one, and why should we allow such a thing in our province?
I think they're a good idea.
You'd go?
Yeah, I think so. It's about time. I mean, we got to raise some taxes somehow, and the casino seems like a good way.
I'd like to think that they would study it before they just open it, so 6 months down the line they don't decide they shouldn't have done it.
In Cape Breton, the reactions have been similar.
I don't think it would be very prudent for the government to put gambling casino in Cape Breton. We already have a gambling problem with the lottery machines.
No, I'm not too crazy over it because they usually say when you have places with gambling and drinking that it brings crime.
Like, I think it would be good. It would be good. Source of revenue, maybe create some jobs.
Some of the casino profits will help defray social costs associated with gambling. Councillors in this province already say there is a serious gambling addiction problem.
It is our hope from the addiction side of things that these gambling activities will have restrictions and controls so that young people, for example, will not have access.
Even police forces are divided on whether casino gambling is a good idea.
We have no concerns or apprehensions whatsoever as far as the government's decision to allow gambling in the province of Nova Scotia. Needless to say, our job is to enforce the provincial and federal statutes, and we will continue to do that.
Well, one of the major concerns is to make sure that the city of Halifax is policed proper. We don't want to tax our personnel if illegal activities go on in the casino, and casinos have a history of bringing crime, organized crime, into the area. Prostitution has a history of rising. Certain elements of the criminal scene do show up when we're talking about casinos and gambling.
So as you can see, people are divided on the topic. It will be several months before ground is even broken for either of the 2 casinos in the province, and you can be sure we will be hearing from both sides of the coin on this issue between now and then. Oh.
Yeah, Fonzie, interesting, even a 50-50 split between the RCMP right. and the local police on this one. Okay, a very volatile issue. Thank you, Fonz. No question, a volatile issue throughout North America. As you know, just recently, the legislature in the state of Maine turned thumbs down on a proposal for a casino. We want to know what you think tonight, so we've set up a Live at 5 telephone poll. Here's the question. Do you agree with Nova Scotia's decision to license 2 casinos? If you do agree, the number is 1-900-273-0030. The no number is 1-900-273-0031. Please keep in mind that calls cost 50 cents each. We'll keep those lines open until 4:30 tomorrow, and we'll have the results on the Thursday edition of Live at 5. Now, before you vote, you might want to stay tuned here because we have yet more reaction from the region, Nance.
That's right, Paul. As news of the casino decision makes its way across the province, many organizations are applauding the move. The tourism industry of Nova Scotia is one such example. Officials there say casinos will undoubtedly attract new visitors to the province. ATV's Star Dobson joins us now with details. Star.
Nancy, tourism experts are basically saying that today's decision is a step in the right direction. According to them, casinos will not only help boost our economy, but the length of our peak tourist season as well.
It will no doubt bring in additional tourists to the province, and it'll bring additional revenues in, which we're sorely in need of these days.
The Tourist Industry Association of Nova Scotia says the impact of casinos will be great.
But it's a source of entertainment, and if we can provide entertainment that will attract people to the province, it's exactly what we want to do.
The Mayor of Halifax, Moira Ducharme, is also welcoming the news.
It certainly is a provider of many jobs and will be a boost to the economy in the metropolitan area as well as industrial Cape Breton.
Officials at the Halifax Hilton are hoping this decision will help breathe life into the now closed hotel.
Absolutely pleased as punch and applaud the government for making, I know, a very, very difficult decision.
Hilton owners have been pushing for a casino license for months, and although the government has not made a decision on where the facility will be, owners are remaining hopeful.
We've got a lot of confidence in our particular proposal. We'll certainly do a lot of work on it now.
The majority of people we spoke with today on the streets in Halifax say they're glad the Savage government made this decision because they think casinos are a good idea.
And the main reason is financial.
You're going to have to build the places, so that's going to be further employment, construction, and then to run the places, you got employment, and then the runoff, spin-off effect about more stores opening up. It's just further employment. I mean, I don't see how anyone could not like the idea.
I'm from British Columbia, and we've had casinos out there for quite a while. And if Nova Scotia is going to make tourism one of their #1 industries, it's about time you get something to keep people here.
But others say money won't solve all the province's problems.
I have to say I wouldn't agree with it. The revenue generated would be good, but otherwise I can't believe it would bring in a good element.
Nancy, one thing's clear right now, and that's that many Nova Scotians are hoping casinos will solve some of the economic woes here in the province. And that's why so many are welcoming this news with open arms.
All right, speaking of the economy, let's talk jobs. Do we have any idea how many are going to be created by these two casinos?
Very difficult to put a number figure on that now, Nancy, but I was told today that casinos are very labor intensive, so we can expect to see quite a few jobs. In the hundreds, of course, and some people are saying over 1,000, actually. So it's good news for Nova Scotians, and not only inside the casinos, construction jobs, hospitality, accommodations. So good news all around.
All right, thanks, Star. Here's Paul.
All right, thank you. And now we're going back to a Province House in Halifax to be joined by Jerry Fogarty, live, who, of course, as you know, chaired the committee, the legislature committee, which recently, and in fact within just the past month, turned thumbs down on the idea of a casino. Jerry, thanks for joining us tonight.
Hello, Paul.
Do you agree with your government's decision?
Well, if I might take exception to your phrase, turn thumbs down, Paul, we did make the recommendation to government at the time, after completing those public hearings through the province, that the government should not get involved in casino gambling at this time because we don't know enough about the business of casino gambling, and we need a gaming commission in place. That was the main proviso that was attached to the recommendation. A gaming commission must be in place, and that is part of the minister's statement of today when he announced that we'll have 2 casinos, one in industrial Cape Breton, another here in Metro Halifax.
But Jerry...
But the gaming casino, or the gaming commission, is also part of the overall proposal, Paul.
But wasn't also part of the committee's recommendation or suggestion that the social costs may not outweigh the economic benefits of moving into casinos?
That would be perhaps part of the mandate of the gaming casino. This is a question that we don't know. But they've got to investigate, and they've got to consult with other provinces in Canada where the casinos are operating, in Manitoba, in Ontario, and in Quebec. The charity casino in British Columbia has had a lot of positive spin-off in that charities benefit from the money. So that I wouldn't say that all social ramifications are totally negative. Now, sure, we've got to be concerned about the possibility of such things as money laundering and increased prostitution and organized crime moving in. But that's why the job of the gaming commission that is being put in place is going to be very, very difficult. There's a lot of pressure and a great responsibility on the members of this commission to do everything possible to be as sure as we can that when we get into the casino gambling business that it's going to be successful and meet with the approval, we would hope, of the majority of Nova Scotians.
See any kind of an impact on video terminals? The local store owners, corner store owners, are very upset. They wanted them back in their stores. There was, I'm sure, many representations made before your committee. Do you see any kind of a change in the government position on those?
That is a separate issue. The government, Paul, chose, as you probably know, to look at the various forms of gaming in the province separately. That is to shall we say, consider casinos. We've reached a decision today on that matter. Then to move to the video lottery terminals, and then the issue of bingo will also come later on. So that really it's difficult for me to speculate. I think it would be irresponsible of me to speculate at this time as to what sort of spin-off, if any, the 1 or 2 casinos would have on video lottery terminals, and those that would have them. That is, the only legal machines are in age-restricted licensed establishments in the province.
All right, thank you, Jerry Fogarty, very much for joining us tonight. Jerry Fogarty, who chaired the Legislature's Committee on Gambling in Nova Scotia. Nance. Before we do that, though, I want you to get these phone numbers again. Now that you've heard a little bit more about the gambling issue in Nova Scotia and the decision to go to 2 casinos in Metro Halifax and in industrial Cape Breton, here's the question we have for you tonight. Do you agree with this decision, the decision to license 2 casinos? If you do, the number to call is 1-900-273-0030. If you do not agree with the decision announced just hours ago, the number is 1-900-273-0031. Calls are 50 cents each. We're going to keep the lines open until 4:30 tomorrow. The results on the Thursday edition of Live at 5. Now, Nancy.
Coming up next on Live at 5, a very special gift of life. A lot of us mean to sign those organ donor cards. We just never get around to it. But doing so could mean the difference between life and death for someone else. It is Organ Donor Awareness Week. We'll find out just what that means when Live at 5 continues.
If everybody does it and their family knows they've done it and will endorse their wishes, we probably would have enough organs to transplant those who are waiting.
I had her, I picked her up and wrapped her in a towel, and then I got up and I called Mom. And they screwed it down. They just lived up the road, so.
Tammy Kagler looking pretty radiant today, cradling her newborn daughter, Jessica Eileen. Jessica appeared on the scene Monday without a lot of notice. She was born at home in Beaver Harbor. Mother Tammy was alone at the time. She called her mom, who arranged for an ambulance to transport mother and child to hospital. Both are healthy, and they'll return home tomorrow. Nancy?
Well, Paul, this is Organ Donor Awareness Week in Canada. So tonight on Live at 5, we're looking at the Maritime's only organ transplant program. Surgeons at the Victoria General Hospital in Halifax perform kidney, liver, and heart transplants on people from across the region. ATV's Jonathan Kay joins us live tonight. And Jonathan, can you give us an idea of how this program works?
Well, the VG coordinates the matching of organ donors and potential recipients, as well as performing the actual surgery, the operations themselves. Now, because of the emotional trauma involved when someone dies, not everyone thinks about organ donation. That's why the VG wants us to think about it now.
If everybody does it and their family knows they've done it and will endorse their wishes, we probably would have enough organs to transplant those who are waiting.
More better than I do.
When transplant coordinator Joanne Rogers' pager goes off, it often signals tragedy and hope at the same time. Somewhere in the region, someone has died, usually in a sudden but severe accident. But because they and their family have agreed to donate their organs, someone else's life may be about to take a turn for the better.
We have consent for kidney, liver, heart, lungs, and tissue.
Right now, the VG has 198 people on its waiting lists. 190 are waiting for kidneys, 4 are waiting for livers, and 4 are waiting for hearts.
Hi, Dr. McDonald. It's Joanne calling from the transplant program. Just wanted to let you know that we will be leaving for the airport at 2:30. If you could be down in emergency.
In most cases, the VG sends its own transplant team to the hospital where the potential donor is. Members of the team meet here in the hospital's emergency department, gather their equipment, then head to the airport.
You can do a lot of telephoning. You can be glued to the telephone for 14 hours, and that isn't always necessarily the end of it because there are other things that finishing it up, and you can go for 20 hours on one particular case without any sleep quite easily.
The donor, who is clinically dead, is kept on support systems until the team arrives. But once the organs are removed, the clock starts ticking. Then, the team has a limited time, just a few hours in the case of a liver or heart, to rush back to the VG and complete the complicated surgical transplant procedure. These are pictures of an actual heart transplant operation at the VG.
This is cold. How about 2 more?
When you consider how many variables are involved in terms of making sure that organs are suitable for transplant purposes and trying to match donors with potential recipients, you realize why you should sign your organ donor card. But Paul, remember that just signing that card often isn't enough, because in many cases it's your next of kin who will be making that decision for you. So you should make sure that they know what you would want to happen.
And discuss it thoroughly with family. All right, thank you, Jonathan. Well, certainly organ transplantation is not without controversy. There are some who feel that we need to take a very close look at organ donation. Connell Smith is standing by in St. John, and Connell, in an age, a high-tech age, where there are many ethical issues in the world of medicine, organ donation continues to be one of the top ones talked about.
Oh, the whole issue is hotly debated in some circles, Paul. There are concerns about the high cost of these procedures and even about who should be chosen as a candidate for a transplant. The debate is far from over. Ron Meehan received his second heart transplant a few months ago. Today he's back at work at his personnel consulting business. At 46, he's glad to have the opportunity to contribute.
I'm Rotarian and that type of thing. I've been involved with Rotary and service clubs and Rotary trade and that type of thing. So I've always tried to contribute back to society as well as my family has as well, just to give something back for what we've taken out.
I don't know anybody yet that could put a price on a human life.
Former police officer David Jones got his new heart about a year ago. He notes that although expensive, transplant services are available to all.
And it could happen to anybody, and one thing, I suppose, it doesn't make any difference how much money you got or how little money you got. And if you're put on the list to receive an organ or something, that's what's going to save your life. And
organ donor transplanting is an emotional issue. There are few who oppose the idea. Yet medical writer Patricia Parsons says we need to be responsible about, among other things, the costs. A liver transplant now runs $110,000.
When you think about that, to save one person's life, potentially, and perhaps if it's the person's second liver transplant, the chances of it saving their life is even less, then you could feed a lot of hungry children on the amount of money it costs to do that.
Parsons is a supporter of organ transplanting within certain limits. Today, Alan Benson has no difficulty declaring his position in support of organ transplanting. 6 years ago, his 16-year-old son died in a diving accident. He was approached by hospital staff about the possibility of donations.
At that particular time, it was a real struggle for me to do that. But I really feel that organ donation is a very vital thing.
Those views are echoed by Ann Secourt, transplant coordinator for New Brunswick.
When we have a patient who is brain dead or in whom brain death is imminent, then we have a responsibility to see that life can continue in somebody else.
Secourt says the quality of life of transplant recipients is almost always vastly improved. Paul, Patricia Parsons says she often comes across as the bad guy in these debates, and she's really just trying to get a society to sit down and have a rational, informed debate about the whole issue. Sometimes, by the way, the cost of a transplant operation is more than offset by the cost of long-term treatment, or at least partially offset by treatment in some cases, like a dialysis, which can cost a lot of money down the road. And you can also look at what the opportunity a person has to contribute to society if they live.
Very emotional and ethical issue, Connell. Thanks very much.
Very much.
And no question it is, again, one of these issues that you want to talk about with your family sooner rather than later, Nancy.
And here once again are the numbers you need to take part in our Live at 5 telephone poll tonight. The question is, do you agree with Nova Scotia's decision, as announced today, just a few hours ago, to license 2 casinos in the province? If you'd like to register a yes vote, the number to call is 1-900-273-0030. That's 1-900-273-0030 to vote yes. If, on the other hand, you disagree with Nova Scotia's decision to license the 2 casinos, the number to call is 1-900-273-0031. It's 1-900-273-0031 to vote no. A reminder that calls cost 50 cents apiece, and lines will remain open until 4:30 tomorrow afternoon. We'll have the results on tomorrow night's Live at 5. And coming up later tonight, inline skating or rollerblading may have started in California, but it spread very quickly across the continent. Coming up, we'll take a look at the popularity of this sport and how it's influencing some other sports. And we'll look at how to avoid getting injured when you're rollerblading later.
The message is, if you're going to start rollerblading, you have to consider the protective gear as part of the equipment.
Most people are very image conscious. They think the pads are a sign of wimpiness or whatever.
Probably never heard a cat sing like that on your back fence late at night. No, folks, this is from Andrew Lloyd Webber's The Musical, Cats, which opens tonight. The only maritime location at Halifax Metro Centre, runs through Sunday.
Fabulous music, and ATV's Janice Landry is feeling a little feline. She's feline today, and she's at the Metro Centre now.
joins us live from in Halifax Metro Center, the makeup area, actually, where...
Hi, guys.
Hi, how you doing, Janice?
Well,
You're out there somewhere, aren't you?
I felt a little strange there this morning when I got up.
Oh,
Janice! I'm not sure why. Look, you guys, I've had a lot of assignments on Live at 5 over the years. This has definitely been one of the funnest ones. You know, Cats is renowned for its beautiful music and dance, and of course all the costumes and the hair and the makeup, as you can see. Coming up just a little later in the show, I'm going to take you through step by step how this transformation is done. It is absolutely incredible. I swear I did not look like this when I got out of bed this morning.
Or never have in the past.
Janice, you look perfectly divine.
Oh, thank you, darling. Anyway, I'll be back a little later in the show. Stick with us because you're going to be amazed to see this transformation.
She does look meowfulous, doesn't she? All right.
Oh, very good.
Well, as a special treat tonight, we've got a couple of things to give away to you folks who might be going to see Cats. If not, you can comfort yourself in one of these Cats Cast jackets. We have 2 to give away tonight. Lovely jackets, and here's how you can go about winning them.
That's embroidered on the back, by the way. Cats, the number to call is 1-900-273-5050. That number again is 1-900-273-5050, 50-50. Calls cost 50 cents each, and we do want to emphasize this is a different number than we're using for our phone poll. This is for a chance to win one of these 2 Cats jackets.
And we'll announce the winners at the end of the show as we take a look at Janice transformed into a cat.
We have just a couple of anniversary milestones to tell you about today. First, we send congratulations to Lee and Delia Langell of New Germany, Nova Scotia. They're celebrating their golden anniversary today, and their 3 children and their families and many friends send them love and best wishes. And today is the 69th wedding anniversary of Simon and Leonie Baudin. They currently live in Lamec, New Brunswick. They have 9 children, 26 grandchildren, 13 great-grandchildren, and 2 great-great-grandchildren who, along with their many friends, wish them love and congratulations as they celebrate today.
And lots more to come on the midweek edition of Live at 5, including the complete maritime weather picture. Meteorologist Phil McLaughlin's got the unsettling, or is that unsettled, details in just a few minutes.
We'll find out. We also have these stories still ahead.
I'm Sally Cummings at the KV Arena. Woo! Where I'm learning how to play roller hockey. We'll show you coming up.
Remember being in school and wondering if what you were learning from the books would have any use in the real world? I'm Dan Vio in Charlottetown. Tonight we'll look at Holland College's competency-based training, hands-on real-world learning.
And still ahead, Janice Landry is on the prowl. Live at 5 gets catty later.
Exactly. As a matter of fact, what I say, as the question you asked earlier about the makeup and how it's performed, each new face is a new canvas. So we do have the guidelines of what...
And that's what St. John looks like at this hour. I think it's pretty much the same around the Maritimes right now, a little gray.
A little bit gray at this very second in St. John, and as you said, I think throughout much of the Maritimes, but Phil McLaughlin has a much better perspective than either you or me because, well, it's been so exciting in the Weather Center lately. Since that launch of the new satellite from Cape Canaveral, they're just waiting for some, and you don't have it yet, right, Phil? But coming soon to a weathercast near you, some spectacular views of the Earth, right?
Yes, don't touch your remote control. The image is going to change with the satellite on our weathercast here on ATV. A week ago, the satellite was launched, and a lot of people have been asking me, when are we going to see it, when are we going to see it? So the new GO satellite that's up there now, the first cloud image we expect down May the 4th. I don't think we'll see it here at the station, but the scientists are going to be receiving it on May the 4th, and the satellite itself will become fully operational not until the fall. October the 10th is the target date. Now, the scientists have a lot of checkouts to do with the satellite. It's a long checklist, if you can imagine, a lot of testing involved, so we'll just have to wait. But come this fall, it's going to look pretty good, I can guarantee you that. So here's the jet stream, an upper ridge over the Canadian Rockies, and very mild again up into the Yukon, into the low to mid-teens up there again today like yesterday, but in our area, tropical cold air, or cool air I should say, is pushing towards the Maritimes. We'll notice that over the next few days, an unstable air mass, somewhat cooler, but again, as I've been saying the last couple of days, this cool weather coming just puts our temperatures down where they should be for the time of year. So here's the big picture. We're up over Quebec, and the low is sitting up there, an upper cold low just parked there, and there's a series of troughs spinning around it like spokes in a wheel, and we're going to see cloud come in and out, some sun, some clouds, some showers, but not like down here in the Gulf Coast of the Gulf of Mexico. Some heavy-duty thunderstorms still down there, and they will stay down there, thank heaven. So here's the close-up for the Maritimes for this hour. A lot of patchy cloud across the area. There is some sunshine getting out as well. Metro Halifax late this afternoon, plenty of sunshine across the south coast of Nova Scotia, but the main weather itself with the showers now off to our east over Cape Breton, some showers and drizzle, similarly across PEI, and up over northern New Brunswick, a few wet snow flurries. Overcast, overnight. Tonight, forecast-wise, a few scattered showers off to our east, wet snow flurries across northern New Brunswick. Otherwise, a clearing trend coming in, just a few patchy clouds from time to time, and there you can see the overnight lows. Chilly New Brunswick. We put New Brunswick in the deep freeze tonight, just below the freezing mark. PEI, Nova Scotia, just above the freezing mark would be typical across the area for overnight tonight. Looking at tomorrow, going into the day Thursday, a pretty good day shaping up, a mix of cloud and sunshine, but with the change of air mass coming in, it's a cooler air mass, unstable air mass. So with the instability, a few scattered showers here and there, breezy out of the northwest, gusting to 50 clicks through the day, and there you can see tomorrow's daytime highs, 4 to 7 across New Brunswick, 7 to 8 across PEI and Nova Scotia. And the long-range outlook, to finish up the week and take us into the weekend, we'll find for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, ditto right through, a mix of cloud and sunshine, scattered showers, and seasonable temperatures. Paul, back to you.
Just never know around here. Thanks, Phil. Roller hockey is the fastest growing sport in the United States, and you know what? It's quickly catching on in our region. ATV Sally standing by live in St. John, where she met up with one young inline hockey player who's shooting for the American pros. Is that right, Sally?
That's right. Actually, Paul, the Kennebecasis Valley was one of the first areas in the region that had inline hockey. Now, one of the players, 19-year-old Craig Roberts, hopes to try out for the St. Louis Vipers this year, and he gave me a few pointers today.
I started roller skating when I was a little kid on the roller skates. And when the knees came out, I got these.
Craig Roberts has been skating since he learned to walk. When the inline rollerblading fad hit, he was able to do his favorite sport all year long.
In case you fell.
And with the proper protective gear, I'm just about ready to give it a spin.
You ready?
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can play hockey now 12 months out of the year,
yeah,
basically.
That's a good thing, so keeps you in shape for ice hockey.
Once again, he gets me on that through-the-legs shot.
I just think it's such a blast because you're always moving.
It's a great way to keep in shape, and it's fun and affordable.
You can buy something cheap for $39, $49. Perhaps it's just a lightweight plastic. Again, it's like any other sport. You get what you pay for.
Because interest in the sport was so high, Craig's father helped organize a league.
This is the New Brunswick Select Team. All guys that played in our local league here at the Kennebecasis Arena.
Some of those players, including Craig's older brother, went on to join the first professional inline hockey team in the U.S.
This is the professional team that my son played on last year, and another chap from here, Trevor Downey and Chris Roberts. They played St. Louis Vipers.
The KV Roller Hockey League was one of the first in the Maritimes to be organized in 1988. Since then, interest is spreading all over the region.
There's no other place that I know of that there's an organized league going, but a lot of them looking at it, a lot trying to get them going. But I think with the more exposure from the professional ranks, and they're going to see more of it on TV, more common, I think you're going to see the league spring up everywhere, really.
Now, there were over 100 people registered in this KV League last year, and Ron Robertson told me today that they've also had some interest expressed from Moncton this year, Nancy.
All right, so Sally, when do Craig and his brother try out for the Vipers?
They're heading out there in mid-May, and they'll train for about a week. If they make the team, hopefully they'll be out there for the summer, making some money, playing professionally.
All right, thanks, Sally. And by the way, you look a lot better on the blades than I do. It is fun, but we've got some words of caution now, too. As ATV's Dr. Stuart Cameron tells us tonight, the sport of rollerblading is more prone to injury than you might think.
Fitness or for fun, inline skating has become the sport of choice for many Maritimers. But it's not always as painless as it looks, especially if you're just beginning.
It's estimated that possibly 50% of people who are starting rollerblading will have some sort of injury.
Chuck Whedon knows that all too well. His injury list includes everything from minor scrapes to torn ligaments. He's learned firsthand that injuries are often inevitable, usually resulting from falls. Frequently, the skater lands on his hand, spraining or even breaking the wrist. Shoulders and knees are also vulnerable. Injuries to these parts could lead to months of therapy.
The message is, if you're going to start rollerblading, you have to consider the protective gear as part of the equipment.
That includes wrist support, knee and elbow pads, and in most cases, a helmet. Wearing the gear will significantly decrease chances of injury. But even so, there are always those skaters who refuse to wear any of it.
Most people are very image conscious, and they think, well, they think the pads are a sign of wimpiness or whatever.
But to Chuck, they're a sign of a safe skater. Other safety tips: never skate on gravel or brick surfaces. Stay away from leaves. And if you find yourself out of control...
If you're out of control, your best bet, what I do is head for the grass. And then at least you have a soft landing.
If you're just beginning inline skating, find some safe, wide-open spaces to break in the equipment. Wear your protective gear and always keep safety in mind. For Live at 5, I'm Dr. Stuart Cameron.
Always think safety. Hey, we do have the winners of our 2 CATS jackets. We'll have that coming up shortly. The names?
And also hands-on education. A lot of people think it's how students learn best, and it's how Holland College works. We'll show you when Live at 5 returns.
One of the most significant differences with competency-based education is that what you see this person doing, the student doing, could essentially be not only a study activity, but also her examination. Very often...
Live at 5, and for those of you not familiar with Halifax, it's a shot of the recently refurbished Art Gallery of Nova Scotia. And just up the street from the Art Gallery of Nova Scotia is the World Trade and Convention Center, where today some rather big news for Nova Scotia, and I guess you could say the Maritimes too, Steve.
Yeah, you're right, Paul. It is our first gambling casino, an announcement that caught a lot of people off guard. Nova Scotia going ahead with not 1, but 2 casinos, and even the opposition seems to think it's a pretty good idea.
It can be done safely, it can be done effectively, and it can be done in a way that it is not an attraction to organized crime.
Metro Halifax gets 1 trial casino, Industrial Cape Breton gets another. We have details and reaction on your news at 6 o'clock, along with this. About 100 demonstrators downtown Halifax today demanding the government stop cutting funding to women's groups. As you can see, these protesters hung their dirty laundry on the line in hopes of getting the government's attention. Their stories here at 6 o'clock tonight. And also coming up, 2 people in critical condition tonight after a fire and explosion in the maritime community. Eyewitnesses say there was an explosion and fire at this Irving gas bar. The 2 injured men are believed to be workers at the gas bar. They're critical tonight. Details coming up on your evening news at 6 o'clock, right after Live at 5, which continues now. Back to Nancy.
Thank you, Steve. Learning by doing is the best way to learn, according to a lot of folks, and it's become the backbone of all the training at Holland College. But the system that makes it happen has developed an international market, and next month, education specialists from around the world will meet in Charlottetown to find out more. Down VO now with a look at what the Island Community College calls learning that works.
Competency-based education essentially teaches and tests students on real job skills, not just knowledge.
Apprenticeship has is similar to competency-based in many ways. It is skill-oriented. It is industry-based. The old apprenticeship model was essentially that there was an academic training component, but there also was an on-the-job training component.
Yeah, I felt a lot more reassured that she's learning through people rather than through books.
Like if I'm doing something wrong, they'll say, well, that hurt a little bit, you know, so I was like, oh. So I'll be able to adjust it. Where if you're working on like the dummy heads, the Dexter heads, you know, he doesn't say anything, so you just go to town. But yeah, this has been wonderful.
Students are immediately ready to go into a work situation. There isn't the usual training process to going from a school environment to a work environment.
But not only is the training hands-on and real world, the teachers are chosen because they're good at what they do. And then they're taught how to teach. Educators from around the world will be here next month for a 3-day conference on competency-based education, the leading edge of learning today.
Particularly in developing countries, they inherited the colonial-based education system, which was very, very academic. Really didn't train their students in very many practical skills at all. It's very much knowledge-based. And now what they find themselves in is in a situation where they have a very high need for technicians, for people who have been trained in technical skills, and they really have no educational system that can support that.
In Charlottetown, Dan Vio, ATV News.
Thank you, Dan. And you know, one of the great things about competency-based education is that, for instance, at Holland College, graduates from many of the courses actually come with a guarantee. So if they don't perform well on the job, their new bosses can send them back free, retraining.
Very interesting. Well, we can guarantee you this. We've got the winners of the Cats jackets that we had here in Live at 5 tonight. We've got the names coming up very shortly. But first, we're going to check in on our very own Live at 5 feline, Janice Landry.
She is the cat's meow next.
So now what I'm going to do is spray you lightly. So you want to close, kind of get ready. You'll still jump. They all do. Kind of strange. And we kind of just lay this tissue to block the access. But what that's doing...
I quit when I hit it.
Is it the luck of the Irish? You know, summer's on the way when the golf clubs come out. St. John Mayor Tom Higgins had his driver out to officially open the St. John Aquatic Driving Range. The city-owned range will be open to the public starting tomorrow. And from a swing of the club to a club of a different sort. A lot of cats prancing around here, right, Nance?
There are. The 4th National Touring Company is presenting the longest-running Broadway musical tonight in Halifax. The mega hit Cats has been seen by millions of people worldwide. It opens tonight in Halifax at the Metro Center and runs until Sunday. Now, Cats is renowned for its beautiful music and dance and intricate makeup and hair. ATV's Janice Landry got a great assignment today and was transformed into one of the cats, and she joins us now live from backstage at the Metro Center. Janice, is that you?
Nancy, I was feline, a little catty when I got out of bed this morning. I'm sorry, that line from my cameraman today, Jody Jessen, I had to say it. It's hard to take yourself seriously when you walk by a mirror and you see yourself looking like this. I had a great time today. Actually, I saw Cats 3 years ago when it was first in Halifax at the Metro Center. It was a great show, but until you get behind the scenes like I did today and sort of see how much work goes into everything, you don't really appreciate it. The transformation is really incredible. You know, as a television reporter, you got to get used to the fact that you're going to have to wear a little makeup from time to time. But I tell you, folks, today we're going right off the edge because this is going to be a lot of fun. This is going to anchor my hair down.
So now I'm going to make your hair disappear. This is what we do. Actually, all the actors have to do this themselves. I'm making you into Bomb Ballerina today.
Okay.
She's our sexy, sexy cat.
I don't think I look that way right now. When you're doing makeup or someone's makeup, do you think of it like working on a painting?
Exactly. As a matter of fact, what I say, as the question you asked earlier about the makeup and how it's performed, each new face is a new canvas. And you know, we try to make them look like cats, which we do fairly well, but then also we don't want them to lose their humanistic quality. So we've been accused that we glue whiskers on, but you'll see later that we don't, that it's all done with line work and kind of illusion. But what we'll do now is we're going to do the powder part. As it comes closer, I'll say don't breathe, and what we do is just press this powder right in to lock these colors. So now what I'm going to do is spray you lightly. So you want to close, kind of get ready. You'll still jump. They all do. It's kind of strange. And we kind of just lay this tissue to block the access. But what that's doing is setting the powder. This is when we all get quiet, when we start working on the eyes. It's a concentration. So I'm just re-accenting some of this black. And then on your sides here, we're going to get what you call your scratch marks or hash marks. And the reason for that is because when I put your wig on, you'll see you have some of these colors in there. So we add the little dots, which would be the base of the whiskers. You're starting to be feline yet? Uh-oh. So now the finishing mark is the wig, which really turns you into a cat.
This is great.
They're made out of yak hair.
Yak hair?
They shave the belly of the yak. We don't hurt the animals.
I'm wearing a yak on my head.
Yes. So that's Bomb Ballerina, our sexy cat.
Oh.
She can't wait to get out on the streets tonight to see what male cats are out there.
Okay, no comment on that one.
Now
Okay, guys, you never know. If you look around the streets of Halifax tonight, you may see me catting or prowling around. You just never know. Talking about these wigs, though, the yak hair, each hair is individually sewn into the wig. They're very expensive. This wig I'm wearing is worth about $1,500 in total for all the performers, 21 or 22 of them, about $70,000 in wigs here at the Metro Center. As well, talking about the makeup, each performer is responsible for putting on all of this intricate makeup themselves. Now, it took Robert about 30 to 40 minutes to do mine, but we were stopping and starting to shoot the story. Usually it takes about 15 to 20 minutes, but you know, guys, I think if I attempted it, it would probably take me 3 to 4 hours, more like it.
I think you're right. Me too. Janice, I want to know if you want to join me for dinner. I know a place that serves a great saucer of milk.
I know, Ness, you probably wanted to say for a long time, I'm catty. Today's the day you get to do it, and I won't say anything back.
You look terrific.
Thanks,
Looks like
girl.
you had fun. Thanks, Janice.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Here's Paul.
All right, and as you know, earlier in the show, we showed you these lovely cast jackets from the musical Cats, and we gave you an opportunity to win them, and we do have our winners for you now. We want to say congratulations to Mary Davis of Quispam Sis and Isabel Cross of Lewisburg. Congratulations, Mary and Isabel. Enjoy your jackets. We'll have them out to you very shortly, and there's more of Live at 5 to come. Once again, the phone numbers for our telephone poll and gambling in Nova Scotia, the casinos, and the wake-up weather. It's all when we come back, so don't go away.